Hey, I'm here to bring you a great idea for how to clean up your coffee mug. So some of you might recognize this kind of a lid, and actually it's the lid we're going to do some cleaning with today. And if you can see the logo on this lid or not, but this is a Contigo mug, and I absolutely love my Contigo mug. So don't be offended, Contigo folks, if you have one of these. They're fantastic. You know, these travel mugs from Contigo, what I really like about it is it's the kind that you have to push and hold the button, you know, to get your coffee out, so that if you accidentally drop the thing, it's never going to leak on you. It's great that way. But what I don't like about it is that there's no way to take this thing apart to clean it. And so what I always have done to get it cleaned in the past is I run it under nice hot soapy water, you know, and I scrub it up with a little bit of a brush or something. And I'll, you know, run a little bit of water through like this, and I'll push the button and go through. And I always thought that was nice and clean. What I've discovered is that it really isn't as clean as I've always thought it was. And I'm going to show you a trick to getting the tops of mugs clean, coffee tops like this or other things clean that you can't disassemble. And you might think that they're clean and they're not. So what you need are just a couple of things that are pretty common in your household, and it's not going to cost you much to do this. So what you're going to need to do is have this in a sink, and I'll show you why in just a moment. You're going to want some sort of a small container for this, so something just big enough to put your lid in. You're going to need to have some baking soda and some white vinegar. And what you're going to want to do is put just a little bit of vinegar in here, and this is not a particularly exact science, so give it a couple of glugs here. And then you're going to want to top that off with some water. And you want to put in just enough so that you fill up and cover up the top of your mug top there. So you really want to be able to soak that and get that cleaned up pretty well. The next thing you want to do is that you want to have just ordinary household baking soda, and you're going to want to put a couple of tablespoons in here, 1 to 2 tablespoons. And usually I have a measure in here. I don't today. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way, the way my grandma would have done this. So I'm just going to put in about 2 tablespoons in the palm of my hand. So about 2 tablespoons worth. Now watch what happens when I do this. And I'll move around so you can see what happens here. We're going to have an old-fashioned science experiment here. And you're going to see a nice chemical reaction happen, and why you want to have this in a sink. So you can see that foam up like that. And what's really cool about this is that the foaming action, which is caused by the chemical reaction between the vinegar, which is an acid, and the baking soda, a base, it causes that the gunk that's kind of buried inside your lid here to loosen up. And you can repeat this 1 or 2 times as long as there still is some neutralization that can happen. Once that doesn't foam up anymore, of course, you have to get some fresh vinegar. But you get a little bit more. Not getting quite as good a reaction anymore, you can see, but we're still getting a little bit, so I'm going to just keep adding a little bit more. Now it's getting pretty weak. So you can see that last time there, it's not much of a reaction here anymore at all. And what I will do is ordinarily I'll let this sit and soak for a while, because it'll still do some cleaning with the soda while that's soaking. And come back maybe 10 or 15 minutes and see what kind of a reaction and what kind of cleaning we've gotten from that. So we'll come back and check on that in just a few minutes. Hey, we're back. I've let this sit now for about 10 or 15 minutes. And I just want to show you the result of what has happened with this. I will, in full disclosure, tell you that this is probably about the 8th or 9th time that I have done this over the last maybe 5 or 6 weeks. So I'm not getting quite as good a results as I did the first few times that I did it, but I am still getting results with this. I just want to make sure that I let you know that, but I want to be real clear about that, so that when you see this, you don't look at it and go, oh, that's not that great a results. So just to be real clear on what kind of results and what's happening with this. But let me get the lid out of here, and it'll take just a moment for the water to settle down here after the baking soda gets stirred around a little bit. Hopefully you can see a few of those black flecks in the water. Let's see if I can. So kind of back up here in the corner, there's some, and a few more down around. They're real small right now, like I said. The first couple of times I did this, I got absolutely huge, enormous chunks. And I do mean chunks. It was pretty gross. And I was absolutely horrified at what was coming out of the top of my coffee mug. There, you can see those a little bit better. So there's some there, and over on the right-hand side at about, what would be about the 1 o'clock spot there, I suppose. So there you have it. Real cheap solution for getting the top of your coffee mug clean. Just a little bit of baking soda and vinegar. And one of those little helpful things that nobody ever tells you about. Hope that helps, and you can use that for cleaning other things in your house as well. So the things that you just can't get at with a brush or a cloth. But if you can put it in a bucket or in a small container like this one here, go ahead and soak that with some vinegar and baking soda and see if that helps. Thanks, and I hope this has been helpful.